But today, I want to talk to you guys about not mourning where you were and celebrating where you are, because it's really, really easy to get down on ourselves when, we've done, some of us had great success for a period of time. And then maybe we've kind of gone off our game, maybe short term, and maybe it was a long term, and it's been quite a few pounds or quite a bit of time. And it's really easy to get down on ourselves. But I want you guys to really think about what you want right now, because being down on yourself is not going to help you moving forward or trying to make a plan to move forward. It's like, what's going to motivate you to move on? Thinking about the glory days and how great you were doing and how motivated you were, how strict you were, or saying, okay, that's all right. That's where I was then. This is where I'm at now. But what is it going to take for me to get back to where I was? And truthfully, maybe being exactly where you were before isn't exactly where you want to be now. And I'll give you an example of that. When I was really, really on my game, like I've admitted to you guys, I've gained in the last year and a half, say, and I'm back on my program and I'm feeling really good and I'm heading back in the right direction. But where I was before was pretty strict. I mean, I absolutely love fasting for the health benefits and for weight loss. And I was doing quite a lot of that back when I was in I'll call my glory days. I was doing a lot of fasting. That was at my lowest weight, and I was feeling really good. But the schedule was pretty intense. Every single day would be intermittent fasting. Usually I would do at least one 48-hour fast during the week. Every few weeks I would do a 3-day bone broth cleanse. And these things were great. They were awesome at the time. But right now where I am, I don't really want to go back there right now. I don't feel ready for it. Right now, I'm just very, very happy just to do regular keto. Regular keto is just awesome for me. So I want you to think about that if you're thinking about kind of where you were. You don't necessarily want to jump exactly where you were. You may want to take baby steps. You may want to start right back where you started and just gently get yourself into it. And as you're starting to feel better, you can definitely do more. Hey, Tanya, great. I'm glad you could make it today. Good to see ya. So like I was saying at the beginning, Tanya, is like I was talking about how sometimes when we go off our game, and we all do it, it's really easy to kind of mourn where we used to be and look back there and go, well, I was doing so great and I was 20 pounds lighter or 10 pounds lighter or whatever, and I was super strict, and why can't I do that now, and get really down on ourselves, right? But seriously, I kind of look at it like this lifestyle that we're on, it really is an ebb and flow. It certainly is not a religion. We don't want to think about keto, low carb, whatever, healthy eating. We don't want to think about it as a religion. We don't want to think about it as an all or nothing kind of thing. It's okay to not always be there. It's okay to not always be 100%. And looking back and feeling bad about ourselves because of where we were, you're now comparing yourself. Well, we talk all the time about not comparing ourselves to others. But when we're looking back at when we were doing super good, and maybe now we're not doing super good, we're also comparing ourselves again. We're comparing ourselves to ourselves, right? And I think we just have to meet ourselves where we are right now. Like, just be honest about it. This is where I'm at. This is the kind of summer I've had. This is the kind of year I've had. This is the kind of stress I've had, whatever has been going on. And just be like, very forgiving of yourself, right? Just, it's okay. It's okay. But what are we going to do now? What is the plan? knowing what you did before, it tells you what is possible because you know that you did it, right? So you know it's totally possible. And so if you could do it then, you can absolutely do it now. And you just have to start where you are right now. I also wanted to say that, our value as people, as women, as human beings, is not based on our current weight. And, anything that we've done isn't based on what our past weight was. Like, it really doesn't matter. Us as a person, it doesn't matter about our weight. That's completely separate. Obviously, we are looking to lose weight and get healthy to be healthy and to feel good about ourselves. But I don't think the two should be sandwiched together like that, because then when you're not on your game, it's so easy to think less of yourself, right? And to think I'm not as good. And it's funny how it can really creep into other things. Like, I was noticing for myself, I was just kind of thinking of like things that have nothing to do with anything, like just my work, my business. And I was thinking, oh, gee, not doing this as well, or I'm not doing that as well. And then I had to give my head a shake and think, no, I'm actually doing really great in that department, but I was just feeling low because I wasn't where I wanted to be with my eating, and it just made everything else seem kind of low too. So it's really nice if you can just kind of separate those things and just focus on the thing that you're really thinking about and not lump it all into one thing. And then if we're thinking about where we want to be, if we want to be back where we were as far as our motivation and how we were doing it, think back to what you were doing and what was working and what wasn't working. And just be honest with that too. Like, maybe there are some things that you're doing before and you're like, yeah, you know what? That was a little bit hard for me. And maybe it made it easy to kind of go off. And these are the things that were working really well for me. I was meal planning. I was planning getting my groceries ahead of time, and I was prepping food on the weekends. Whatever that is for you, think about the things that were really working for you and start to make a plan. Start to make a plan on how you're going to change things. I am really talking to the people who have been off their game. If you've been staying on your game, then that's fantastic. I personally have not been there for a little bit. So these are the kind of things that I've been thinking about. Taking another little drink here. Yeah. And thinking also too, we talked about this last week, consistency. It's really easy to say, okay, so I've been kind of off my game, so I'm going to go super strict. I'm going to be the strictest that's ever been. That isn't necessarily the best approach. I mean, if you can do it, all the power to you. But being consistency, honestly, you talk to the people that have made it to their goal. You talk to the people that have been able to maintain their weight for quite a bit of time, and they will tell you it is the consistency. It's not the level of strictness. It's the consistency day in and day out. And again, we talk about it's okay if you have a little one and done, if you have a little short little veer off, but it's when you get right back on and be consistent. The only reason why I am not where I was before is because I was not consistent. I did not do a quick little one and done. I allowed myself to be off too long. And that is my problem. So, like I said, jumping right into hardcore fasting or anything like that, that is not going to help me now. Being consistent in my keto plan, just following my keto macros every day and not going too high in calories, obviously, but also not going too strict because I don't want to boomerang. I don't want to rebound and go backwards again. So just keeping that consistency. So speaking of consistency, pretty soon in our group, we're going to be talking about the 21-day consistency challenge. I have that on, September 7th to 28th. And I'm really, really excited for that because we are going to have accountability partners. And if you want some more information on that, please go into announcements, because I have a little spiel on there about the accountability partners that we're going to be doing with this. You can do it even without a partner, but it'd be great if you had the partner. But we're going to go 21 days of being consistent. I'm not going to tell you how to eat. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do. You do you wherever you're at in your keto journey, but we're going to do 21 days without a one and done, without a veer off. We're going to be consistent. Oh, now some people are here. I think silly Facebook was being weird today. Hey, Sean, good to see ya. Tanya says, meal planning is a must. I plan and then I make my grocery list and stick to it. I buy nothing else. Good for you. That's awesome. Tanya knows that that's what works for her. So that is definitely on her plan. That is fantastic. Yeah, I know for myself, one thing that works really well, I don't love it, but I know that it makes me really successful, is when I plan the night before even what I'm going to have. And when I say plan the night before, I mean I actually put it in my tracker. I plan it all out. Like yesterday, last night, afternoon or whatever, I planned today. So then when I look at today, it's so much easier just to follow what I had planned out than if I'm kind of winging it. It's kind of easy to say, well, last night I made those keto cookies, which sidebar, I did make some awesome keto cookies last night, and I talked about it in the group. They were Karenza's recipe that she had found. Fantastic. White chocolate macadamia nut cookies. Unbelievable. Best ever. Anyhow, sidebar, they're on the counter. And had I not already planned out that I was going to have 2 after dinner tonight, today at lunch, I went up and I had my fatty coffee and I had my anti-aging bone broth collagen drink. It would have been so easy for me to just say, oh, I'm just going to have a couple of cookies. No, you know what? I have those cookies to look forward to after dinner tonight. It's already planned out. Once I have it all planned out, it's like I don't want to veer from the plan. So I know that's what works for me. Tanya says meal planning works for her. So thinking about those things that make you really successful, you know the things that work for you. What works for you may not work for someone else, but you know what works for you. And getting that organized is going to make you super successful. Sean, I'm super excited for the challenge and found someone I don't know for my partner and plan to make it fun. Oh yeah, it's going to be super fun. I'm trying to think of things like that, that we can do with our accountability partners, just like little fun things. And I'll probably ask you guys for some ideas too, but I definitely want a daily check-in in the group. So everybody checking in every day. And again, we're not going to be, posting our macros or anything like that, because everybody's going to be, I mean, if you want to, you can, but everybody's going to be doing something a little bit different. But it's that daily accountability. Every day you're going to check in the group, and every day you're going to check in with your accountability partner. And it's your accountability partner that you're really going to talk to. Like, I've already had some chats. Lisa Sadowski is my accountability partner in the group, and we've already had a couple of little talks about where we're at and how we're feeling and how we're going to support each other. So get those conversations going now before we get into the challenge. But that, I think, is going to make a big difference. I think you guys are going to love this. So that starts on, like I said, September the 7th. So we're going to be doing that in the group. Yeah. So you guys, tell me how you're feeling, right? So the topic today is not mourning where you were, but celebrating where you are. And do you find that when you haven't been on your game, do you focus a little bit too much on, the glory days of wherever you were when you felt like you were successful? And do you kind of like beat yourself up a little bit because you were so good then and maybe not as good now? Are those things that go through your mind? It's really so easy to do. Honestly, I think so many people do that, but it's really going to prevent us from moving forward if we have that loop. Anybody out there an overthinker like me? Yeah. So that's something I do. I am an overthinker, and sometimes I have this loop that just plays around and around and around in my head, and I have to stop the loop. Like I have to. Sometimes I look myself in the mirror and I say, stop it right now. I actually have to do that because it's like I don't know if it's an OCD thing or whatever, but I can't stop getting these thoughts in my mind. So I have to be very diligent in how I stop thinking about these things. And it's hard. And sometimes it takes somebody else to do it too. Like, I was talking about something and my husband said, you kind of talk about that a lot. I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but you're kind of going on about that thing, and you're not really helping yourself by talking about that. And that's what really got me thinking about this. Like, I didn't realize that I was talking about it so much, about where I was, and I realized that is just not going to help me at all. It's not going to help me at all, going on and on and on about it. So I decided then, that's it, not talking about it. I'm just going to decide where I'm going from here. Hi, Janet. Good to see you. Tanya says, yep, own worst enemy, my own worst enemy. Yeah, I think it's honestly super common, probably more so for women than men, but just as human beings, I think it is very, very common to be hard on ourselves. But like I said, it's not going to help us. So we have to change that mind. We have to change that thought process in our head. Christina says, I'm in for this fun challenge. I've had too many of my son's gluten-free cookies. I've been getting salads at a local grocery store for a quick and easy dinner. I got new apricot vinaigrette for my dressing. Awesome. Boy, just doing a few things like that really gets you going. And it's funny you're saying that about the gluten-free cookies, because I was just at the farmer's market on the weekend, and I did so well. I didn't get anything I shouldn't have, just veggies and stuff. And but I saw a lot of gluten-free things, and the people that I was with were saying, oh, look, there's gluten-free this and gluten-free this. I said, gluten-free is good, but there still is going to be grains in there, and there's definitely going to be carbs in there, and there probably could be sugar in there. So, I mean, just because it's gluten-free doesn't mean it's like a super great choice for me. And I'm sure that's probably what Christina's talking about too. So it was kind of like a little bit of a better choice, but it still isn't like the best choice. And then getting yourself something like your apricot vinaigrette, it just gets things like, it gets you kind of excited. I've been going back into my recipes. I have all these recipes. That's why I was asking in the group what you guys do with your recipes. I find all these links, like especially in TikTok, but on YouTube and stuff. And I need a place to house the links. And people said that they stored their recipes on Pinterest. And that's great if it's a Pinterest recipe, but what if it comes from all different kinds of sources? So anyways, I have a notepad on my phone, as I'm sure most of you guys do. And I have a folder that just says new keto recipes to try. And then I put a little, I'll just say what it is, like Corinza's white chocolate macadamia nut cookie recipe. And then I'll put the link underneath that, and so on. And then once I try it, if I really like it, then I will usually post it in the group, and I'll save it in topics. And then I will write it out on a recipe card. I know, totally old school, but then I put it in my recipe box as part of my favorites or whatever. Anyway, just going through that over the weekend has gotten me so excited, like just looking at these recipes, because you get like super bored. You get super bored of just the same old or whatever. And when you do these little things like buying a new dressing, or like Tanya said, planning out her menu ahead of time, or looking at these recipes that you have stored, it gets you kind of excited again to get back into the game. So, oh, Christina, I have a 3-ring binder with clear sleeves of printed recipes. Fantastic. And are those like tried and true recipes that you put in there, Christina, or are they like all recipes and then you try it afterwards? That's a lot of printing. Sean says, I haven't been doing that much. I'm kind of just maintaining and not stressing about it. It's summer and garden veggies. I need to get back to focus on losing weight again and reaching my end goal, thinking September is my month to really start. And you know what? There is nothing wrong with not being on your game all the time, like I was saying at the very beginning. I think really this lifestyle is an ebb and flow type of a lifestyle, and especially when it comes to veggies and fruit season and stuff. And it's so nice to partake in that. And maybe during that time, maintenance. And like you said, you're maintaining, which is fantastic. Seriously, maintaining is awesome. For some of us, maintaining is a really difficult thing. I find that I'm a loser or I'm a gainer. And that's just because of my, to the bottom of my core, I am an all or nothing kind of person. I am a binge eater if I don't keep it in check. And so these are things that are very difficult for me. I would think it was a total home run if I could maintain. I'm still working on that. That is something I definitely have to work on. So if you can maintain it in veggie and fruit season, that is fantastic. But what I was trying to get at is that not every season is going to be a lose weight season. Sometimes it's going to be maintaining, and sometimes it's just going to be like, trying to rein in our one and done so that it's not too much ones and less of the dones. Christina, I've tried about half the recipes. Great. Awesome. Well, that's exciting. You've got that binder to go through everything. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, so you have certain periods of time. September is a great month to be really hitting it hard. And I'm well into my, plan again. I'm feeling really, really good. September, gradually I'm going to be getting, more and more into it. And then that is my goal as I get closer to Christmas. Obviously, Christmas and Thanksgiving is not the time that most people lose a lot of weight. And during that time, I'll probably be more closer to maintaining, and I will strive for that because ideally I don't want to go backwards, right? I really don't want to go backwards, even though I have gone back a little bit. Hi, Sonia. Hey, congratulations on your test. I just saw it on Facebook. Woohoo! Sonia got 100% on her test. That is so great. Congratulations. You must feel really, really good about that. Sonia, I started fasting again yesterday, made it 19 hours. Woo! That is awesome. Wow. Were you fasting when you did your test? Was your test yesterday and you got your mark today, or was your test today? Because maybe that's why you did so great, because you know how that gets the brain really going. Sean, I think I went really hard for a year and did well, got my 100-pound loss, and now I'm just up and down last 6 months, but want to get another 40 pounds at some point. You know what? You got a large, amount off. That is a huge number. It is so much to be proud of. Honestly, 100 pounds, Sean, that is fantastic. It really is. And then now you've been maintaining. There is nothing wrong with that at all. But when you get to that point, you're just feeling it. You're like, okay, I think I'm ready to, crank her up a notch or whatever. When you're ready for that, then go for it. But don't look at these last 6 months as a failure. Honest to goodness, you've maintained for 6 months. That is honestly, that is amazing. That is amazing. It's not easy to maintain. I've actually said, I do totally believe this to be true, that it is harder to maintain than it is to lose. Because when you're actually losing, when you're in the mindset of losing, right? You've got that drive and you've got that motivation. But when you're in maintenance mode or in, not the strict mode or whatever you want to call it, it's so easy to go, I'm not really doing it. So I'm just going to, let everything go. And I have to admit that is my thing that I struggle with. So if you have maintained for 6 months, honest to goodness, you need to pat yourself on the back, because that is awesome. Absolutely awesome. Sonia, yes, I tested fasting. Well, do you think it's a coincidence that you got 100%? I don't know. I'm just saying. Oh boy. Now Sonia's got the fasting bug. She's going to be all over it again. Sonia was really into fasting before, but that's how this lifestyle goes. We kind of ebb and flow through the different things that we're doing. And I don't want to look back, and I'm proud of what I did, but I'm also proud of where I'm at. I bet you if you guys think about it, even if you're not on your game, you are still not doing things the same as how you were doing them before you ever started keto. Like if you think way, way back, right? There are certain things that I bet, even at your worst now, which is still better than what you were doing then. Just little things that you do. I know people that they're like, yep, every day I still have my apple cider vinegar drink, or every day I still have my bone broth drink, or, that kind of a thing. Or I still have my fatty coffee. Well, you know what? Even if you're not doing keto and you have your fatty coffee, you're giving your brain those awesome MCTs, which is so good for you. It's not every single thing we do needs to be connected to weight loss. I mean, I know that's kind of where our minds go, because that's where our focus is. But just doing things for health. I know Christina, she has been exercising she travels and she goes all over the place, and she's posting that she did so many steps and she still gets her exercise in. She doesn't say, oh, well, because I'm not on my game, I'm not going to exercise, or I'm not going to walk. She still gets that in, right? So those are really important things to think about. Where am I? I'm ready in September. Sean, I'm ready in September. I don't do a lot of carby things generally anymore. It just turned into a lifestyle, a bite here, a bite there, um, things or a meal once in a while. That's excessive, and some naughty veggies. Not much sugar or grains day to day. Exactly. So when you think about it, Sean, way before you ever did keto, you would never have been eating like that on the normal, right? You would probably have had, the pastries and all that kind of stuff on the regular, right? It wouldn't be like a treat. It would be like more on a regular basis. Whereas now, even if you're not totally on your game, it still is just like a treat. It's like, yeah, once in a while I treated myself to have a donut or whatever, but it wasn't like you were having it every day. So your lifestyle has really permanently changed, even if you're not in that strict mode. Sonia, yes, I still had my BHB drink every day, though I blew it bad. Oh, well, Sonia, don't even worry about it. Seriously, I know it's really easy to think back about where you were, whatever, but here you are now. Here you are right now. So meet yourself where you are right now and decide for yourself, where is it that you want to go? What's your next step? Right? You already started fasting, so that's really good. You're dumping a lot of glucose. Don't forget about just doing your regular keto is super good too. Maybe mixing in the two, seeing how you feel. I think that's really great that you can jump right into fasting, because boy, that's hard if your carb load is high. That's really hard to do that. Anyways, you guys, that's my message for today. It was just a little chit chat, because I think it is really important to not spend too much time kind of wallowing in the glory days, thinking about how great we were back then and maybe how we're not right now. I know it's really hard to do, but think about, if you did it then, you can totally do it now. And it's probably going to be super easy now because you actually know what you're doing. Back then it was a bit of a learning curve, and now you don't have that learning curve. Carmen, I'm still doing all keto. I'm afraid of cheating. Well, Carmen, that's totally working for you. That's really great. Sadly, a lot of us are not afraid of cheating, and that's how come we're where we are now. So, I think that's really good. If you can give yourself a little bit of a free pass, like if you were on a vacation or something and maybe you could just watch it and not track or something, I wouldn't call that cheating. I would call that just being, a little bit less strict. But I think that's really awesome, Carmen. You really stood the test of time with this. You've done a really good job. Anyways, you guys, that's it for me. I'm going to go have my planned dinner because I planned it all yesterday. And in the next, where are we? Yeah, probably in the next week, I'm going to be posting more about our 21-day consistency challenge. So just as a reminder, I'm really encouraging you to get an accountability partner. So go look in announcements. You may have to scroll down a little bit. I don't know how far it is, but I have a post talking about an accountability partner. And in there, you can say, hey, I'm looking for an accountability partner, but I will do some more posting on that just to remind everybody. And I'm really excited. September 7th is when we're going to get started. So I'm very excited about it. Oh, yes. Thank you very much. I am going to enjoy the cookies, my 2 cookies that are in a little Ziploc bag set aside for me so that I don't go dipping into that big container. Anyways, you guys, have a great night. Thanks a lot for chatting with me. See you later. Bye. Hey guys, before you go, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell notification so you can be notified every time we have a new video posted. Also, down in the description, I will have links to everything that we talked about in our chat today, including information on how you can join my Intentionally Bare Keto support group. See you next time.